Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Daily Chess Championship. Now, Daily Chess is... It's a very interesting format because you've got so much time, but it's not as if you're constantly sitting at the board. So I always battle with how much time should you spend on a move. Sometimes, you're on your phone or you're on the website and the move comes through and then you look at it, it's a straightforward move, you play it in a couple minutes. Sometimes you may be crunched for time and you have to just play a move quickly. Sometimes you've got so much time, you've got 24 hours, you can sit there for 30 minutes calculating variations and so on and so forth. You can go really in depth with the analysis tool, of course. No engines allowed, no table bases allowed. I believe opening books are allowed, so opening theory should be perfect. Anyway, round 1, 22 games, kind of. We'll explain more about that at the end. Here's my best game to start off with. I've got 5 games to show you, simply because this is my best game, and then the other games all have their own interesting stories. I've got the black pieces, e4, e6, and it was this. My opponent played e4 and then e5. The engine doesn't like me playing d5 in one move, but after knight to f3 and c5 and this, we're kind of in a French. Kind of in a Sicilian type thing. We're in a weird opening. Of course I can take this, but that just helps their development. So instead I play knight to c6, which is fine. Takes, pawn takes, now bishop pins my knight. So here I just play knight to e7. I'm already better. I've got, nice control here. They can't really play d4, so short castles. Here a6, get the trade. Rook to e1, bishop to e6. I didn't want them to sacrifice anything. So is this the best move? No. But I didn't want them to play e6 and then, open up stuff around my king. d4, bishop e7, bishop to e3, c takes d4, knight takes d4. Now we trade again. They take with the queen, which is alright. It develops the queen. It's a bit sus because, at various points, the queen's going to be a target. Short castles. Now, knight to d2, rook to c8, and h3. And this is where everything just capitulates for my opponent. I played bishop to c5. I mentioned it a couple moves ago. Queen's very central, but there's still lots of pieces about. Now, there's no threat if you play queen d3. Because queen d3, then d4. Then the bishop can escape to f4. And then out this way. But instead of that, my opponent accidentally got their bishop trapped. They went to f4, and now d4 traps the bishop. Bishop's trapped, so bishop takes, queen takes, because I'm up a piece, may as well trade queens. We get the queen trade, and now I just have to win this game. That's hit, that's under threat, the knight's got to move. We get rook ab1 first, I just play bishop takes a2. Bishop takes a2, rook slides over, bishop takes b2. For the time being, there is no rook to b1, so I was fine. Knight develops, I bring the bishop back to e6. Knight goes out to g5, and I thought, look, there's no point trying to keep this bishop on the board. I could, if I really wanted to, play bishop here, and then if they try to attack me, supported with something like b5, I was like, look, let's be practical, just play rook fd8. Ask for rook trade, and we go here, we push some pawns, and we get one rook trade, and we get a second rook trade. We're up a bishop, we push through, I have one trade, and make a queen, and in 34 moves, we won. This, of course, was not the first game that we won. We went on to win many, many, many games, but this was the cleanest and the best, and it all came down to one move, and that was d4. d4 wins us the game. We were presented with an opportunity, and we just cleaned up from there. But not every game was so straightforward. Here I've got the white pieces. e4, c5 is Sicilian, and it wasn't straightforward looked to play a Grand Prix. I've been mixing up what I play against the Sicilian. Bishop to g7, bishop to c4, knight e7, short castles, d3, a6, a4, b6, queen e1, bishop to b7, and here I blunder. Because I play bishop to e3. Just double checking you can see the eval bar. Yes, you can. You can see it falls all the way down. Why is that? I just walked in d5. And the problem is, if I take, they take back like this, my bishops hit, I drop back, and they fork me. That is the big problem. Bishop to e3 was a bad move because it walked into a fork. So instead of that, I decided not to trade. I dropped my bishop back straight away and went for this position. Yeah. This is one of those times where I spent not even a minute on the move. I was like, just finish developing. You've got no attack just yet. Just play bishop e3. Because you put pressure on this long term, and it was just bad. It was just bad. As I said, daily games, it's really hard to get the flow of a game, because in a rapid game, you kind of know this is a critical position. Sometimes daily game, you just forget, quite honestly. And bishop e3 is just, it's a terrible move. Absolutely terrible. F5, though, I've got nothing else but to try and attack this king and get a draw or hope they blunder something. E takes f5, and then I thought about taking back, but I was like, oh, takes, knight takes, this is a problem, knight coming in, it's really bad. This bishop makes no impression. It would make more of an impression if the king was back there. So after e takes f5, I was like, look, just, play queen e2, queen f2. Queen f2 is actually a bad move, because there are points where trade is going to be a problem. So takes. Now, I definitely maybe shouldn't take back, but I do. D takes e4, now knight to d4. Here, an important move, knight to e5, because I've got to go for the king. I've got to. So I'm threatening this. They play f5. Now, here I wanted to take, but taking is really bad because you kind of open this up. And now there's rook takes f5. And we're in devastating problems as you try to defend this. Queen g3 is a mistake because of knight e2 check. So it becomes really difficult, and you're going to lose the knight. You've got to play something like, queen e3, and then there's knight takes c2. So there's forks all over the place. So c3, f takes e4, we get hit, but now we can put the knight in the way. It's just got to. I mean, I can't move the queen. The queen really does not have that many places to go because there's forks all over the board. So the knight's hanging, that knight's in the way, and here they played queen c7. And this is why you don't resign in daily chess, for numerous of reasons. One, your opponent might forget to play the move and you'll win the game on time. And two, they might blunder the game. And here there's mate in 2 with queen f6. King can't go here. So king here, and then there's 2 different mates. There is queen h8, but there is also knight h6 mate. So yeah, we won the game after queen to f6. Our opponent resigned, and that was our toughest game. We went down a piece, but you just got to keep attacking the king. We lined everything up. We maximized every piece except the rook on a1. And if you think about it, this bishop never got a chance to make an impression. The knight here didn't make an impression. The rook didn't make an impression. These pieces didn't make an impression. We were playing against the queen, which was defending a lot of stuff and threatening a lot of stuff. And this knight, which was causing 6 million problems for us. But we managed to activate our pieces, and yeah. Queen c7 is bad. In a lot of lines that I was calculating, there's queen d6. Queen d6 here is really difficult because it covers here, although it loses in this position because you obviously hang the queen. So here, the best move is knight f3 check, which I did see, and I was like, I don't actually know what to do here. Because g takes f3, but now rook takes, and the rook would take here, and the bishop would take here, and the queen would get in, and it's all really, really bad. Here, bishop takes f7, and obviously not king takes f7, but e3, which is crazy. Because if queen takes e3, there's knight f5. Getting in, and the bishop's under attack, and the queen's getting in. Yeah, knight f3 check would have really been devastating, but we managed to win. So we move on to another game. This is the same opponent as the game we just had, but this was very convincing on my part. e4, e6. It's a French. You know me, I love a French, and they blundered very early on. D takes d4. Oh no. Yes, no, they didn't blunder early on. This was a different game, sorry. Had a different game in my mind. Here, bishop d3. We trade off the light square bishops, which I'm fine to do. Rook e8. And here I just thought, I want this bishop. I can play a move that's got 2 threats. I can go here, because we attack h7 and we go here. So first we play knight bd7, and then after a6, because we do not want this, and the rook has got a threat against my queen, so this enabled this move. Now I can go knight to g4. Was my idea a couple moves ago. Just made sure everything was nice and tight. They attack my knights, and I take. I could have tried. There was a way I could have gone here, which if you saw my recent game on the improvers, I could have, but it loses, because takes, check, king here, and I've achieved nothing. You know, bishop comes back, and I'm fine, I suppose. What? Why were they better? Were they better here? Oh no, this is losing because there's knight h4. And they just ignore my knight. Wow, okay. Anyway, knight takes e3. Rook takes. We trade off a set of rooks. And they took with the queen. One move blunder. I skewer the queen and I pick up the rook. And we win. 20 moves. Not that difficult. Now this was the toughest opponent. His nickname is the Chosen One. Of course, the games are not all finished, but my games are. That's why I'm making the video. e4, c5. Again, a Sicilian. Knight to c3, e6. And we go for this like Grand Prix style setup. d5, we give the check. We allow this trade with the knight getting to the center. Knight to f6, we take. Which might have been a bit rushed. What we could have done first was take this. And then maybe play something like d3. I'm not happy with the way I did this. So now I've got d3, but they just play bishop d6. And I've got a tough choice to make here. Because I very much can play b3. So we trade before they play bishop d7. And here I can try and play b3 to hang on to the pawn. But it's just, you know, short castles, and there's all this stuff. And I just think black's position's actually not that bad. So I was looking very, very hard at what else I can do, and I found a beautiful move, actually. I found a beautiful move in this position, and that's queen e2. Queen e2 is beautiful. The reason being, you give up this pawn, but you can play queen e4. This little maneuver here is beautiful, because I'm targeting this weakness that I just created. Now, if they wait a move and try to defend that, I pick up the bishop. It's like a fork. It's the strangest fork you've ever seen. But I managed to pick up the bishop if they try and defend that. And when they take my bishop, I take it with check. They can't block with the bishop because they lose the rook. So king comes up. Now, I can try and get away with taking this rook. But the simplest thing to do is take the bishop back, because there are various points where queen takes b2 becomes a problem. I could have also tried to pick this up with check, but I thought keep things simple, stupid, take the bishop. The king's moved, he can't castle. Rook b8 now, steps out the way. We take with check, king slides over, and now short castles. And I thought, I will never lose this. Queen e7. And here, I shouldn't trade queens, but I do. And I thought, I'm up a pawn. I've got a better position, king's in the center, can't lose this. Played b3, a4, and put my knight on c4. The problem is I've lost all of my advantage after this trade. Why? Because this structure is so immobile. He plays a5, and my structure can't move. Just can't. Still, I was playing daily chess. I thought, oh, I'm winning this position. I'm not. He's got a 4-on-2 on the king side. I've got a 4-on-1 on the queen side, but it's like immobile. His pawns can move much faster and easier than mine. So rook cd1, e5, king f2, king e6, king e2, g6, and here I set a trap. You can see I played one of those collinear moves to get them to undouble my pawns. He has to take, and here king takes would have been a blunder because I would have taken here. I would have got in, I would have separated his structure. He could have played something like rook c8, but here I can play king d2. Not king d3, sorry, king d2. I don't know why I clicked there. Anyway, Thank goodness I've got that confirmed feature for daily chess, where you make a move and then you press the tick first. So there's no, mouse slips for daily chess, which is very good. I advise all of you to have that setting turned on, so you don't do what I just did. Anyway, king e7. He decided to go back. He didn't fall for this. But what's this allowed me to do? My pawns undoubled. And now I've got the mobility of the c and the d pawns, and this is still a target. So I play g4. I'm trying my best to freeze his structure, so this is not possible. He plays rook b6. I play rook f3. He plays rook b4, and here I've got a couple of choices. I can play h3, or I can play c4. I choose c4 for two reasons. One, his rook doesn't have vision this way, just at all. And when he plays rook b6, I would like to play rook h3 in the future. So kick out his rook again and play rook h3. And here he resigned. It's +5. I didn't realize how good this position was. But the thing is, he's losing this. Absolutely. I thought, obviously rook a6 is not a good move. I thought he could play rook b7, and then if I went for rook h3, he could like defend with like king d7. It's still winning for me completely. I didn't realize how good this was. But I've just got like these pawns marching down. This is always a target. So in this position, I play d6. He has to play something like, if he plays rook c7, then I've got king d3, and I just walk my king in. And it's a beautiful position. These pawns have gone really far, really fast. So that's why c4 was such a beautiful move as well, because it really gets these moving. I mentioned how mobile his structure was and how immobile mine was. Mine moved faster, so just, really, really good. I'm really happy with this. Like, I don't generally play endgames well, but c4 made a lot of sense to stop him seeing this. And this weakness, it's a weakness, but it's defended. And when I go for his, they come with check and they come with tempi. And I can sacrifice this pawn to try and push these through. So really, really good. Last game for the video, and then I'll show you how everything's ended up. I've got the black pieces. I'm playing a French Sicilian. I never played d5. I could have. Like, it is a line here to play d5 in the French, and to get this structure with like knight here, and I think this is all like theory. I don't like it. I don't like these positions, so I just played c5, and I'm like, now we've got it in English. So b3, knight c6, bishop b2, knight f6, d3, d5. I've mentioned it in the recent video I made about the thing, bishop e7 and the fianchetto here, and I'm sorted for life. C takes d4, e takes d4 and e5, so knight drops back to d7, and that plays f4, makes a lot of sense, securing this pawn. Knight b6, knight f3, and here I'm winning. Here I am much, much better. For one move only, and I found it. It's a multi-purpose move, so it was easy to find. And that move is d4. This move accomplishes a couple of things. It accomplishes three things in my mind. One, it shuts out this bishop. So this bishop is not as much of a nuisance. It can still go here and cause problems. Two, it puts my knight. It gives my knight a square to go to and to jump to e3 and occasionally to c3. But, to go this way. Two, it actually secures d3. d3 can't move now. So this bishop doesn't have scope this way. So what happens? Knight bd2, knight d5. G3, trying to fianchetto the bishop and get it out this way. I just go here. Queen's under attack. Now, I thought there was just queen c1. But there isn't, because I've got knight here to b4. And I'm getting to c2. I'm getting something to c2. So he plays queen e2 instead, and I just got the exchange. I play bishop to g4, pinning the knight to the queen, and trade off. Because you're up material. But I had to be careful. Actually, I regretted this bishop trade. I found queen a5, which is just, a fork. Cleanest of fork. You have to defend the knight. Knight f4, and I take here with check. Bishop blocks. And I got to this position, and I was like, alright, I'm winning. But it's not so simple. Because this knight can't move, because b7 hangs. So bishop e7. But then here he played a very spooky move, and it had me seeing ghosts. He played f5. Now the engine says, just play short castles, dummy. I was like, and then this? and it's like sack the bishop. Just go here. You gotta be crazy to play like this. I'm sorry. So I played long castles, but long castles invite certain problems. He still goes here, but now there's no king there. So g takes, pawn takes, and I go here. Knight check, king slides over, check here. He takes here, queen takes c5, and that is his final move of the game. 24 moves it all took for me to play rook takes f6 check, and I win. My opponent resigned, a bit prematurely I think, but it is mate in 15, simply because his king is not safe. I can't go here because of d4, that important move I played earlier, and he's going to lose one of these two bishops. If you're confused, if he plays king e1, I take here. If he elects to go here, to keep the rook defending this, I go here, and it's mate in 1. He can only go here, and then, I checkmate him. So, really convincing victory. And what that means is, at the end of 22 rounds, 22 consecutive games, and we'll talk about what that means in just a minute. What's going on? Why is it not coming up? There it is. What it means is, so we had someone withdraw, and then I believe their account might have been closed for inactivity. Anyway, they withdrew, so that's why they've got blue zeros. All of the red zeros you can see are from Nitish and all these guys, from 6 down to 11. All of the red zeros are timed out without making a move. Then you can see I'm top 22 points. I won every single game, guys. For the first time ever, I managed to qualify. I've had such a rough time in this tournament. I finished second, I finished third, I finished fourth, and I finished with like 18 or 20 points. It's been really tough, but I'm finally going to make it to round 2. I was really excited to play against a fellow South African, but he never pitched up, unfortunately. So yeah, the chosen one, or chosen one, he's only lost 2 games. He's obviously got 2 games still busy that he could win, so he could finish on 20 points. This guy's lost 4 games to me and to the number 2, and then there's Lonhood, who I played the first game of the video against. The next 2 were against him, and the last 2 were against him. So we have made it to round 2. Obviously, it'll be confirmed. We wait for all the official results. But really, really fun. My games are done, and now we would just wait. We wait. We hope Chess.com doesn't ban me for 96% accuracy in the one game. I don't think they will. I didn't cheat. But you never know. They banned Ali Reza Firouzja, so it always goes through my mind when you play a game at high accuracy. Anyway, fun jokes aside, really, really excited, really, really happy. We finally made it to round 2. After 4 years of trying, 2023, 2024, yeah, 4th year. This is my 4th year trying. Finally make it to round 2. I've said that a lot, but I'm really, really happy, guys. Anyway, comment down below what you think of the video. Comment down below what you think of Daily Chess and how you go about it. Yeah, and how did you do in the Daily Chess Championship in round 1, if you played? Cheers.